This is a Fox News alert. I'm Chris Wallace in for Brett Baer. We are awaiting word from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals on its decision about President Trump's immigration executive order. That order, which temporarily limits travel from 7 largely Muslim countries and suspends all refugees from coming to the U.S., has been blocked by a federal judge. Now we're told a ruling from a 3-judge panel reviewing the court order is coming down shortly, perhaps in this hour. Chief White House correspondent John Roberts begins our coverage tonight. Good evening, John.
And when we get that ruling, Chris, and it could be any time between now and probably 8 o'clock Eastern time, it's expected to be a very narrow ruling. This will deal only with the temporary restraining order against the president's immigration ban that was imposed by Judge James Robart. He is a district judge of the federal court in Seattle a week ago. Now, there's a number of things that the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals could do. It could lift the temporary restraining order altogether. It could keep it in place, or it could lift parts of it. If the White House does prevail at the 9th, it's expected to immediately reinstate the immigration ban. But if it loses, we do not know, and no one can tell me tonight, whether they will go to the Supreme Court to appeal the temporary restraining order, or if they will simply go back and fight this case on the merits of its constitutionality at the district court in Seattle. At the White House today, it was another conflict-filled day as the president was hitting back against his critics.
So thank you all very much for being here.
The president again ripped Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal today, insisting Blumenthal wasn't truthful when talking about what Judge Neil Gorsuch told him in a private meeting yesterday.
Ask Senator Blumenthal about his Vietnam record. He misrepresented that, just like he misrepresented Judge Gorsuch.
Aides to Judge Gorsuch say he told Blumenthal that attacks against members of the judiciary are, quote, disheartening and demoralizing. Contrary to what Blumenthal claims, those aides say Gorsuch was talking in general terms and not responding to attacks the president has leveled against a district judge in Washington state and the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Today, Senator Blumenthal was sticking to his story.
I am simply repeating what Judge Gorsuch said to me, and I hope he will repeat it in even stronger terms.
At the White House today, it was all sweetness and light as other Democratic senators came over for lunch to discuss the Supreme Court nominee. Most of those senators are up for re-election in 2018 in states that President Trump won handily.
I am so encouraged to have this type of a meeting, and we're all invited to sit down and be open and honest about it. And no one got into name calling, or no one got into why he said, she said. It wasn't that, and you'd be surprised. Not only did we talk about the nominee for Supreme Court, we talked about many, many subjects.
But lunch was only a brief calm in what seems like a daily Twitter storm. The president also lashing out again at Senator John McCain after McCain dismissed President Trump's claim that the raid in Yemen that took the life of Navy SEAL Ryan Owens was a success. The president ripped McCain, writing Senator McCain should not be talking about the success or failure of a mission to the media. Only emboldens the enemy. He's been losing so long he doesn't know how to win anymore. Just look at the mess our country is in, bogged down in conflict all over the place. When asked about the president's attack, McCain deferred.
I rely to a large degree on the national security team that I am very good friends with for many years. General Mattis, General Flynn, General Kelly.
But his Democratic colleagues were only too happy to leap in.
When President Trump assaults Senator McCain, he better watch out, because this is a guy who knows what he's talking about.
He's saying so many things that are not fact-based that I don't know if anyone believes him anymore.
Good morning, everybody. Good
morning. President Trump also discovered today he can move markets, the Dow taking off on a rocket ride after telling airline CEOs a tax cut is coming.
We're going to be announcing something, I would say, over the next 2 or 3 weeks that will be phenomenal.
And a victory for the president today after weeks of delays, finally presiding over the swearing in of his Attorney General, Senator Jeff Sessions. Immediately signing 3 executive orders to crack down on criminals and help protect those in the front lines of fighting crime. But the White House was forced to rein in one of the president's closest advisors today. Kellyanne Conway appeared to step over an ethical line while defending the president's daughter, Ivanka.
Go buy Ivanka's stuff is what I would tell. I'm going to get. I hate shopping. I'm going to go get some on myself today.
The chairman of the House Committee on Government Oversight called that unacceptable. The White House saw it that way, too.
Do you believe that she crossed an ethical line? Kellyanne has been counseled, and that's all we're going to go with.
And Kellyanne Conway may not be out of the woods just yet. We hear that the Office of Government Ethics is going to review her statements. And the feud with Senator John McCain over the raid in Yemen is not over yet either. Fox News has learned that Vice President Pence will pick up that baton. In a speech to the cadets at West Point this hour, in remarks exclusively obtained by Fox News, the Vice President is expected to say, quote, "We will always support you, not second guess you, and we will never call your service or your sacrifice a failure." Chris?
John, let's get back to our top story. What's the White House saying ahead of this ruling tonight by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals? Could we see the president react to the ruling, either if it goes for him or against him? And I don't just mean on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't think, Chris, that we'll see him react to that in person. There's no more photo opportunities for him tonight. They don't have any plan for him to come out. Likely that we'll get a paper statement from the White House. And, of course, we could always hear from him on Twitter. Now with Jeff Sessions sworn in as Attorney General, he is the one who will be leading the charge in the courts against this. And I don't think they have made up their mind just yet whether or not they would take this to the Supreme Court if they get an unfavorable ruling at the Ninth Circuit. We should find out maybe later on tonight.
Chris? John Roberts with a whole lot of news from the Trump White House tonight. John, thank you.